Hello, this is Jane Goodall. It's abundantly clear to all of us that our planet's in crisis, and it's a crisis created by the crazy notion that the annual growth of GDP is more important than protecting the environment for future generations, and that there can be unlimited economic development on a planet of finite natural resources, a growing human population, the unsustainable lifestyles of the affluent, and extreme poverty. Today, more people are aware of the catastrophic effects of climate change. Scientists have been warning us about this for years. Alas, we didn't listen, and now we're paying the price. The thing is that we're part of the natural world. Indeed, we depend on it for clean air, clean water, food, clothing, everything. But we depend on healthy ecosystems. It was when I was spending months in the rainforest when studying chimpanzees that I learned about the interrelationship of all the living things around me. Each plant and animal had a role to play in what I think of as a glorious living tapestry, the forest ecosystem. As more and more species become extinct, it's as though threads are pulled from the tapestry, weakening it until eventually it hangs in tatters and the ecosystem collapses. And it's healthy ecosystems on which we depend for our existence. It's very clear that it's our disrespect for the natural world and animals that has led to climate change and the extinction of species. We've destroyed ecosystems, polluted air, land, and water. Industrial farming, with its massive use of chemical pesticides, herbicides, and artificial fertilizers, is causing massive loss of biodiversity and killing the very soil on which our future depends. Our reckless use of fossil fuel has emitted huge amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. Our factory farms that raise billions of animals for cheap meat create huge amounts of methane gas. CO2 and methane are two of the greenhouse gases that blanket the globe, trapping the heat of the sun, leading to the extreme weather events, the terrible storms, floods, droughts, heat waves, and terrifying fires that are affecting the entire globe. The permafrost is melting, releasing more methane. Ice is melting. Sea levels are rising as the water heats and the ice melts. Industrial agriculture and household waste contaminates rivers, kills aquatic life. Much of it ends up in the ocean, including plastic. All this pollution, along with commercial fishing, is having a devastating effect on marine ecosystems and depriving millions of humans of their food and livelihoods. As we destroy forests and other ecosystems and move deeper into wildlife habitats, we force some species into closer contact with humans. We hunt, kill, and traffic wild animals or their body parts to sell in wildlife markets for food, medicine, and exotic pets. This illegal wildlife trade is a billion-dollar industry. We crowd billions of domestic animals into horribly cruel factory farms. In other words, in all these situations, we create conditions that make it easy for a pathogen such as a virus to spill over from an animal to a human, and it may create a new zoonotic disease. We're told that some 75% of all newly emerging diseases in humans are zoonotic in origin. Again, scientists have been warning about this danger for years. Again, we haven't listened. Now, as we continue to suffer from the COVID-19 pandemic, we're paying a bitter price. Always it's poor communities that suffer the most from climate change and disease, as they don't have the resources to deal with changing situations. And often they're forced to cut down forests to create land for growing their crops, or to make money, or to poach animals in order to survive, or become climate refugees. In urban areas, they must buy the cheapest food. They don't have the luxury of making ethical choices in what they buy. Did it harm the environment? Was it cruel to animals? Is it cheap because of unfair wages? And also, the poor are often forced by circumstances to work in conditions that are dangerous for their health, like factory farms or illegal mining. And they're not even paid a proper wage, as big corporations compete to produce the cheapest products to get more custom. And what about the animals? Science now accepts that we humans are not the only intelligent, sentient beings on the planet. Non-human animals also have emotions, such as contentment, fear, despair, and all feel pain. Every one of the animals trafficked and sold, every domestic animal in a factory farm or a puppy mill, or hunted by the wealthy for sport, every one of them is an individual with his or her own personality. The scale of suffering is almost unimaginable. And hundreds of thousands of animals are used in medical and even pharmaceutical research and testing, imprisoned and from their point of view tortured. And the demand has soared as scientists use them to search for vaccines for the current pandemic. Hundreds of highly intelligent social macaques have been captured from the wild, torn from their families, imprisoned alone in tiny barren cages. There is no one to turn to for comfort as they pace round and round or huddle in sickness and despair. It's pretty clear, isn't it, that we need to develop a new relationship with Mother Nature and with the animals who are co-inhabitants on this planet. Relationships based on respect. We must subsidize regenerative farming, alternative energy, plant-based diets. We must seek alternatives to animal testing, alleviate poverty, protect and restore ecosystems, rewild the land, and more. Our health, our very survival as a species, depends on it. Let us get together and take action now, before it's too late. Thank you.